What up, boys, and welcome back to another video. So, most of you guys have probably already heard the news about the major nerfs going on with Relic of the Past. I personally found out about it like, what is it now, like 7 hours ago or something like that when I woke up. I'm just fighting a cold right now, so wasn't really up for making a video on it. But if you guys haven't caught up on it, like if you haven't read WoW or WoW Economy, basically they changed how the Relic of the Past is made. So instead of just using like the material, like old school materials that are really cheap, you now also need this thread, like this Shadowlands crafting region, which makes it non-profitable, like doing it. Like it's as far as I know, it's going to cost like 100 gold just in the vendor mats to create the Relic of the Past, and there's not a single vendor now a single item that you can craft that's going to vendor for that amount. So they've pretty much screwed us over. And I've been like, my DMs on Discord have been blowing up, and also on YouTube, people leaving comments about it being nerfed, they want to do next, and what I think about it and everything. And I already discussed this in a video like previous this week, where I'm against like a vendor to vendor shuffle where people can just buy like shit from a vendor, disenchant it, and then turn it into an item and together with a Relic of Past just vendor it again. However, I think it's I was afraid that like farms like that, or not even farm, like shuffles like that would ruin like every shuffle, right? Like I'm not against the shuffle. Like what I was really focused on in my previous video was that I don't think it's a big issue with the shuffles going on. They're like the ones that we had before, the whole Panda line, Avenger, Disenchant thingy, because there's just not enough supply of cloth or materials in general on the auction house for it to become a major problem. It's not like people would just print infinite amount of gold. There's just not enough mats for that. So I think it's really sad, like that this is the way. If everything is still subject to change, though, but I find it tough that they're going to go back on this one. Hopefully, they will make it slightly cheaper, because like me and a lot of people have found a lot of new farms. Like we've explored a lot of like old zones. Now with Relic of the Past, because we've been after like old content materials. So now that's gonna go to waste. Like the couple of videos that I've uploaded a couple of weeks with like the focus on claw farms, we're not gonna do those anymore because the cloth is not there. Like only some of the farms were like bad because they only dropped the cloth, so the Relic of the Past made them good. While some of the farms was a combination between cloth and transmog. But then when the cloth is taken out of the farm, like if that's not relevant anymore, there's better alternative transmog farms. So it kind of sucks because there's a lot of the zones that I never farm in because there's just not any good farms in those zones. And right now, with this nerf, there's no point for me going back to those zones. So I definitely think this sucks. I do. I hope they're going to change it in some way. I'm not sure. I don't really have a good solution on how. But like I've seen on Twitter, there's multiple solutions on how they could have fixed it, which I think would have been better than the current fix. And the question now is like, what do everybody do with their cloth, right? Do you just everybody is dumping cloth? If you go on the Undermine Journal and you look up rune cloth, for instance, you can see the quantity of rune cloth up on the auction house and how the prices just plummeted. Like on my realm, you guys can see I got my cloth up, and right now the prices, like everything, it's not that bad. It's like 190, 167, but like the quantity, 112k, 225, like they went up like 5 times overnight after these news, and probably after this video they're gonna bump up even more, even though the news is kind of late now. So yeah. Basically, I was gonna sell my materials. Like, there was a discussion yesterday, a Wowhead post about the Relic of the Past being changed from a 2-second craft to a 10-second craft, but that never went live on the PTR, on the beta. So, basically, if that change went live, I would have sold my materials anyways, because my plan was always to shuffle for one day, just to make like 1,000,000 gold and make a video on it and then just sell the cloth, because I can't be fucking arsed to shuffle myself. It's boring. I don't want to do it. But so whenever they they were debating on like making it from a 2-second back up to a 10-second craft, I was already thinking about selling my mats. Right now, I haven't invested in any cloth. I know a lot of people have. They've bought up like all the cloth under 2 gold and so on. I haven't, because I was always afraid that it might get nerfed. So I just did a lot of farms that got me a lot of cloth. And worst case scenario, it's not going to make it to live, which doesn't look like it's going to be the case now. I just sell the mats off or just use them to craft transmog. Like, I still have a lot of the materials in the bank right now, so I don't have to buy rune cloth or like any other cloth for a while, because I'm stacked on it. I did manage to sell some of it though, like 81,000 gold so far in sales. A lot of it too, 10k rune cloth, 33,000 netherweave cloth, and some smaller amounts. And yeah, I think you guys can still do good deals, because everyone's dumping your cloth, so you can buy it. But like, buying 10,000 linen cloth cheap for like half the usual market value, like, come on. Linen cloth is already cheap as fuck. Like, I don't give a shit if I buy my linen cloth for 50 silver now rather than 75 later on. Like, I don't. So, me personally, shooting myself in the leg by saying that I'm going to sell all my cloth, because I know a lot of people will do that as well then. But I am. Like, the demand for linen cloth and rune cloth and so on, if the Relic of the Past never happened, is so low that people with like hundreds of thousands of linen and rune cloth, they will never be able to move it all by, like, people won't buy it. So I'm just gambling on selling my cloth to people who are unaware of these recent changes. And if they don't, fuck it, I'll just vendor the cloth because it takes up a lot of space. So there's that. That's all I had. I just wanted to make this video so you guys know kind of where I'm on this subject, so I don't get spammed in DMs. And while we're on the subject, if you guys haven't already, you guys can still get 50% off on the 0 to 10 million gold guide. Luckily for me, I didn't add the cloth farms in the book, because I kind of will suspected that I would get some kind of nerf. But yeah, until pre-patch, 50% off using code pre-patch. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see all of you guys back in on tomorrow's video. Until then, bye bye.